Welcome back to the channel, everybody. If you found this video, it's very likely that you've got a fish tank at home that looks like this, that's completely been taken over by algae, or you want to stop your fish tank from reaching this stage. Either way, in this video I'm going to give you some tips on how to minimize algae growth in your tank and how to clear this mess up if you have a tank that's been overtaken by algae like this. Before we get started, if you're interested in keeping your aquarium clean and healthy, or if you're just passionate about the fish keeping hobby, hit that subscribe button because I'll be posting regular tips and videos on a weekly basis. Now let's get back to today's video. The first thing we're going to do is go in with this fish tank scraper. I recommend you invest in one of these. This one has a coarse sponge material on the end. You can get bladed ones, but I tend to avoid those because the closer you move to the seams of your tank, the higher chance there is that you could damage the silicone and cause a leak in your fish tank. Another option is fish tank magnets. Those are the magnets that attach on the inside and outside of your fish tank that you can move along, and they can help to get rid of algae. But the problem with that is that sometimes this algae can be too stubborn for even those magnets to manage. So let's go in with this fish tank scraper now and see if we can do some damage control. So as you can see behind me, the scraper has done a really good job of clearing the algae from the glass. Now the next job is to remove any of these dying leaves, because any decaying plant matter will just release excess nutrients into the water, which isn't good because that's exactly the kind of thing that algae thrives off. If you've got a deep tank like this one, which is around 2.5 feet deep, it's worth getting yourself a long pair of tweezers like this. These are usually used for planting in aquariums, but it's also useful if you need to reach deep down into your tank to pinch out anything that you want to remove. It's always useful to keep an empty bucket nearby whenever you're cleaning out your fish tanks. So far, so good. The tank is looking much better now, and the water wasn't green like this before. The bulk of the issue with this tank was that the algae was stuck to the glass, but now that it's been displaced, the water has turned green, so the next step is to do quite a large water change. One of the best things about having moved my tank into this utility area is that when I'm doing my water changes, I can lead the water straight into one of the main drains. So while the fish tank's draining out, let's talk about how we can avoid getting into this kind of a situation with algae in the first place. And the first tip is to avoid putting your fish tank anywhere where it's going to be exposed to direct sunlight for long periods of time. So placing your fish tanks near windows is a big no-no, because you'll be surprised how quickly algae can just take over. If your fish tank isn't near a window and you're still experiencing problems with algae, another issue could be your fish tank light. Try not to leave it on for more than 6 to 8 hours a day. Now I know we've all been there where we've forgotten to turn the fish tank light off, and it's been on all day and probably all night sometimes as well. And one of the things that you can do to combat this is to have your lights on a timer, so you can schedule when they turn on and off, and that will keep a more consistent pattern for your fish as well. Tip number 2 for reducing the amount of algae growth in your fish tank is to stop overfeeding your fish. Even if your fish look really hungry, try not to put more food into the tank than what they can manage within a few minutes. If you find there's still food floating or sinking down to the bottom of your tank after a couple of minutes, be sure to remove that, because that food will break down, it will cause excess nutrients within the fish tank, and the algae is going to love that kind of environment. So no overfeeding. Tip number 3 is to keep up with your regular water changes, and that could be anywhere between 10 to 25% of a water change that you do on your tank. Now that depends on your own stocking levels and your own schedule, but just make sure when you do the water change that you're not just removing the water from the middle of the tank. Get right down into your substrate, whether it's gravel or sand, and make sure you're removing all of the debris and decaying matter. When you're ready to add new water into your tank, remember to treat the tap water, and also try to match the temperature as well, so that it's less of a shock for your fish. Speaking of fish, that leads us on to tip number 4. So we don't want to overstock our tanks, because the more fish you have, the more waste they'll produce. And if you haven't got the filter systems to manage that waste, again, you're going to end up having excess nutrients in your fish tank, which will cause algae growth. But in this kind of a scenario where you've overstocked your tank, algae growth is actually the least of your worries, because all of that polluted water can cause stress and harm to your fish and their health. Tip number 5 is to introduce other aquatic life into your aquarium that can help manage the algae by eating it. For example, you can get Amano shrimp, as well as many varieties of snails. To save you having to do any research, I'll list all the algae eaters down in the video description. Tip number 6 is to introduce loads of aquatic plants into your aquarium, and this is one of the most effective strategies in combating algae, because what those plants will do is outcompete the algae for nutrients. One example of a good aquarium plant that will help to reduce nutrients within your water is Java fern. For a list of other plants that you could introduce, I'll put them in the description below. And my final tip is to get yourself an aquarium testing kit so that you can test your water regularly at home whenever you need to. Now, you can take a sample of your water to your local aquatics and they'll test it for you. However, it's just a lot easier having your own test kit to hand so that you can keep on top of your water parameters. So if you follow all of those steps, hopefully you should be winning the battle against algae. Now it's over to you. Let me know in the comments what kind of algae you've been dealing with and the kind of steps you've taken to help manage it. And if you found this video useful, please remember to like and subscribe for more aquarium tips.
By the way, this is what the fish tank was looking like after I had done the full clean and got rid of all the algae.
That's all for now. Thanks for watching and I'll see you in the next one.